1971, U.S. nuclear war planner Daniel Ellsberg released the Pentagon Papers, revealing secrets of the war in Vietnam. But Ellsberg had other secrets in his safe, nuclear secrets.
5 seconds to go, and...
We are not gathered here out of hate. Yeah. We are gathered here out of love.
Yes.
Yeah. Love for our people.
Yeah.
Love for justice.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Stanley Heller. Welcome to the Struggle Video News. Look at this picture. It's an artistic or an AI illustration of Netanyahu's immediate plan for Gaza, 70% to be taken by Israel. Now, some have commented that this violates the Trump-Netanyahu-Hamas ceasefire plan, but that's a small detail. When an area is conquered, people are looted and abused, but then the survivors live the best they can under the new rulers. But that's not going to happen here, according to Netanyahu's plan. The Palestinians won't be allowed in any of that land that Israel has taken. They'll be forbidden on pain of death from going there. That means roughly 1.8 million people will be crowded into what's left. Before the genocide, there were around 6,000 people per square kilometer in Gaza. Under Netanyahu's plan, there'll be roughly 18,000 people per square kilometer. Compare that with other crowded places. India, 400. Taiwan, 656. Even the city of Hong Kong, 7,000. The number for Gaza will be much higher. And none of that is even a fair comparison because Israel has destroyed all the public services in Gaza. It's a horror. I saw this tweet from attorney Khalid Mahajna. He wrote, "At the end of my visit today with journalist Mohammad Arab in Nakba prison, he asked me to describe his face and features, and to tell him what his eyes look like. For more than 2 years, he has not seen his own reflection in a mirror. Of everything I heard today, this was the heaviest. To be denied the ability to see your own face is to lose part of your connection to yourself." Last week, we reported that it had been confirmed that an American Syrian doctor was killed in Assad's Sinai prison and execution center. Now we learn about a Syrian family whose disappearance we covered on and off for years. In 2013, dentist and chess champion Rania al-Alabbasi, her husband, her secretary, and Rania's 6 children were taken by Assad forces. People had hopes that at least the children were still alive, perhaps given to Assad loyalists. But after the overthrow of Assad, nothing was heard about them. In a bitter truth, it has been learned that all 6 of the children were murdered almost immediately after their abduction in 2013. All were killed for their mother's supposed crime of helping another Syrian family. There hasn't been a word about the secretary, Majdoleen al-Qai, but this week the family formally gave up all hope. This week there was a parade for Israel in public on the streets of New York City. after 2 years of genocide, and these people still don't get it. They're still celebrating Israel. Yes, Mayor Mamdani didn't attend, and that was gutsy, but tens of thousands of others did march to honor the killers. There was a piece in the Israeli paper Haaretz. It mentioned floats were celebrating illegal settlements and flags celebrating the army brigade responsible for the extrajudicial execution of 15 Palestinian Red Crescent emergency workers, clearly marked as unarmed medical personnel in Gaza. One upside about that day, Jews for Racial and Economic Justice, and what they said. They've never marched in the parade. And in their release, they noted that Israel sent Smotrich and some of the worst Israeli politicians to lead the March of Folly. Next is a trailer for a film. It was recorded a year before Daniel Ellsberg's death. The film is called An Ordinary Insanity. Ellsberg says the idea of fighting a nuclear war is an insanity because no matter how small you start it, it rapidly goes all out, and then almost all the human race would die. The film is 29 minutes long. It focuses on Ellsberg in the 50s and 60s when he was a nuclear war planner. It has a practical message. Eliminate all land-based ICBMs as a first step in total nuclear bomb elimination.
I've long said, to my last breath, I will be doing what I can to postpone and avert the risk of nuclear war.
In 1971, U.S. nuclear war planner Daniel Ellsberg released the Pentagon Papers, revealing secrets of the war in Vietnam. But Ellsberg had other secrets in his safe, nuclear secrets.
5 seconds to go, and...
No language really does justice to this, but absurd is one word. Cataclysmic, catastrophic, evil. A readiness and a preparation and a rehearsal of causing nuclear winter and destroying most large life on Earth. That is insane, and you have to call it a kind of ordinary insanity because it's so widely shared. Can humanity survive the nuclear era? We don't know. I choose to act as if we have a chance.
I saw it yesterday and it was excellent. It's terrifying, but Ellsberg does propose a way out that makes sense. To see it for free, go to peace.org. Speaking of nuclear, you may not know, but there's a big corporate push for nuclear power using supposedly advanced, safe building plans. It's going on all over the country. Connecticut's governor got the legislature to spend $5 million to find sites for this new nuclear power. This book by Lunda Gunter of Beyond Nuclear explains these plans, explains that the plans are bunk and should be defeated. Gunter will speak at Promoting Enduring Peace's event on Monday, June 15th in West Hartford and on Zoom. We conclude with coverage of a Nakba Day rally in Stamford, Connecticut, some weeks back.
Palestine! Love it. Amazing.
And that's part of the reason for these data centers as well.
But let me be clear. The Nakba did not erase people because Palestinians are still here.
And not Palestinians are with the Palestinians too.
Their stories are still here. Their culture is still here. Their identity is still here. And today, we are here too. Say it with me. Free, free Palestine!
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 We are not gathered here out of hate. We are gathered here out of love.
Yeah!
Love for our people.
Yeah!
Love for justice.
Yeah!
Love for human dignity.
Yeah!
Love for a future where no child, no family, no community is denied safety, freedom, or humanity. We refuse to normalize suffering.
Yeah!
We refuse to become comfortable with silence. Because silence is never neutral. Silence always allows injustice to continue. And today, we choose something different. We choose to speak. We choose to stand together. We choose to show up for what is right, even when it is difficult.
Woo! Yeah!
Every voice here matters.
Yes!
Every person here matters.
Yes!
Every moment we stand together matters.
Yes!
Because change does not happen all at once. It builds through courage. It builds and grows through community. And it begins with people willing to stand together and refuse to look away. So I ask you, do not let today be the end. Let today be the beginning.
Yeah!
The beginning of speaking louder. The beginning of learning more deeply. The beginning of continuing this movement long after today's end. Because this is bigger than one march or rally, bigger than one gathering. This is about justice. This is about humanity. And we will not stop advocating for freedom, dignity, humanity, and human rights for all people. Woo! Say it with me one more time. Free, free Palestine!
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 Stay together, stay strong, and continue to stay loud today. Thank you.
This demonstration was built on three demands. Ending all U.S. aid to Israel, stopping the supplies, the support, the political support, the intelligence support that's allowing the genocide to continue in Gaza, that's creating havoc and has created havoc throughout the whole Middle East. 2, the right of return for all Palestinians who were pushed out of their homes during the Nakba and continue to be ethnically cleansed from their historic homelands. And 3, freeing all Palestinian political prisoners. And that's a demand that's especially important. That's a demand that's especially important because right now, not only are over 10,000 Palestinians being held in Israeli jails, tortured, made to go without food, kept awake, sexually assaulted. There was just a big New York Times article, the most Zionist publication you could imagine, which had to publish an article because of how severe the brutality in Israeli prisons is, the sexual assault, the abuse, the rape. So we're demanding freedom for all Palestinian political prisoners in occupied Palestine, in Israel, and in the United States, because we have the example of Salah Sarsour. How many people here know who Salah Sarsour is? Good. Some people know who Salah Sarsour is, some people don't. But I will say, Salah Sarsour, he's a Palestinian American. He's been in the United States, had permanent residency for over 30 years. He's the president of the Islamic Society of Milwaukee, the largest Muslim organization in Wisconsin. And he was just taken by ICE after, after concluding a sale of an apartment building that he owns. He was picked up by ICE on his way home and is now in ICE detention. And he's been in ICE detention since the beginning of April, so over a month and a half. He's the latest in a long line of political prisoners in the United States who have been Palestinian or pro-Palestine. And so I'm going to introduce our first speaker, but I want to say that as everybody is mobilized and angry against the attacks in our communities with ICE and with this new McCarthyism, we have to remember that this current chain of repression began with the attack on student protesters demanding an end to the genocide in Gaza. That the police in virtually every major city, at every university, administration, worked with the federal government, worked with the Zionist security firms to come up with plans to silence dissent, to silence protesters. And we are standing for free speech, and we're standing for democratic rights as we mobilize today for in remembrance and commemoration of the ongoing Nakba. So I just want to recognize that this dynamic is inseparable from the attacks on Gazans and the ongoing ethnic cleansing of the West Bank. We ask also that people keep our focus. We know that there's counter-protesters that happens. We ask that people keep our focus on our demands, on our speakers, and that we don't allow for our narrative for today to be shifted because of people trying to agitate us and provoke us. Because we have real demands, we are building a real movement, and we have to keep our focus on building this movement and building our community. So with that, I'm gonna introduce up our first speaker, Ben Wellesley, who is a leader in our communities with the Peace Pact and other organizations. Give it up for Ben.
Thank you, Evan, for that introduction. Yes, I'm an activist, just like Evan is. It would be great if you. I'm with a vigil that's in Bridgeport every Monday, where we talk to everyday citizens about how Gaza is a local issue. As others will know today, it's estimated 750,000 Palestinians were forced to flee their homes during the 1948 Nakba. Hundreds of Palestinian villages were emptied out due to the threat of incoming Israeli soldiers and mobs. More than 13,000 Palestinians were murdered. This is a sad and tragic story. Even more saddening are the individual stories, the anecdotes of Palestinian boys being marched into the center of the village and executed in front of the townspeople as a deadly message that their families needed to leave. Or, as New York Mayor Zoran Mandani illustrated in his social media post yesterday about the Nakba, the father telling his daughters to crouch down in safety while the parents gathered a few belongings. As with the case As was the case with the many fleeing Palestinians, they often took the house key, which was large in size, with them to hang in their next temporary home as a remembrance of what they had lost and token of hope that they may return to Palestine. This is heart-wrenching.
Our next speaker is going to be Lana, who is a Palestinian American resident of our communities. She's set up a network called Seeds of Solidarity, which does important community building and mutual aid humanitarian work. She has been really instrumental in building this mobilization for today, and we have her to thank for the success that we're experiencing. So give it up for Lana.
Hi everyone, I'm just so proud and honored that, really close. I'm very proud and I'm so honored by every single person who made today possible and who's here today with us. It was actually Evan, our dear friend, who sent me a text saying, should we do something for Nakba Day? Maybe a barbecue or a small picnic? And that was less than a month ago. And 2 weeks later, after we started getting mobilized, here we are today. So really, honestly, give it up for Evan. It was your idea, your brainchild, and I just participated. I'm very honored to be here teaching about the Nakba, the truth of the Nakba. This is more than anything I could ever hope for. As you know, Nakba means catastrophe in Arabic. In 1948, more than 750,000 Palestinians were forced from their ancestral homelands to make modern-day Israel. Small villages were completely destroyed, massacres were carried out, hundreds of thousands were actually shoved into Gaza, into refugee camps with nowhere to go and no way to return. My family, the Shawa family, is an ancient family from Gaza. And I'm proud, I'm so proud to be a Palestinian from Gaza. My father was born on Christmas Day, December 25th, 1948.
The whitest girl here said she's Palestinian.
He jokes that the Israelis gave him a birthday gift, a bomb that landed on his home minutes after he was born. But by divine intervention, my teta, my grandmother, moved him moments before the pillow he was sleeping on, just before the wall next to his head fell on the very bed that she had delivered him from. My teta's land was taken in 1950 as a buffer zone, land that later became settlements alongside Gaza. And my father left as a teenager in 1967 on foot because many of the young boys his age were being drowned in the Wadi Gaza by Israeli soldiers. This is my family. This is the family where I come from. And when I tell you that Nakba is not past, I mean it with everything in me. It is ongoing. It is being carried out, funded and protected by our own elected leaders here in the United States. I still have family, my beautiful family, living in tents after their homes were destroyed, some of them multiple times, and they are refusing to leave. When I ask them, like I asked my cousin Doa, they say, we will rebuild. This is the resilience of the people from Gaza. I have lost over 200 family members during this genocide, and I haven't been able to go back since 1997 when my brother and I were detained and our passports taken. But I dream one day I could return to visit where my grandfather's grave once stood before it was razed by Israeli bulldozers. And every day I pray that God will give my words wings to touch the hearts and souls of other people so that this dream can become a reality. a free Palestine.
Free Palestine!
Thank you for standing with us, for standing with the least among us. Because where one group suffers, we all suffer. Our hardships are common and shared, and so is our hope. Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Our next speaker is fighting for justice in our communities, in our state, Sister Elaine. Sister Elaine from the Free Abdis campaign, fighting for our incarcerated brothers, sisters, and siblings, and connecting the struggle with the struggle for a free Palestine. So let's give it up for Sister Elaine.
Thank you, Evan. To the group across the street, Shalom Aleichem, right? For my brothers and sisters on this side, Assalamu Alaikum. Good morning, everyone. I wanted to actually give a little bit of information about myself and Free Abdus. So we're Afro-Caribbean, and Brother Ishmael, actually his family is from the Bahamas, and they're considered Jewish. And I remember going to one of his family events one day, and I asked them, are you Black Israelites? Because we're from New York. So I remember like the Black Israelites standing on the corner, and they looked at me and was like, no, we're Jewish. Like, we're the original people, like people from Africa that call themselves Jewish, the different countries in Africa. And I say that to say this, right? We forget that this fight that we're striving for Palestinians, our brothers and sisters, that they're people, right? Whether they're Jewish, Christian, Muslim, we're talking about a group of people that are actively being displaced since 1948, actively being surveilled, actively not able to pursue life and liberty, right?
That's our program for today. I'm Stanley Heller for The Struggle Video News.